and welcome to my reading on the eclipse, the total solar eclipse in Aries, which is happening on the 8th at 19 degrees of Aries. And the total solar eclipses is a new moon energy, but they are the strongest eclipses that you can have. So this is major energy. We've already been experiencing the eclipse energy. There's been a lot of changes, especially with the South Node. It's been quite, there's been a lot happening. There's been even some strange things happening with it. It feels like there's things leaving. I've heard of an abnormal amount of deaths actually happening, or things just leaving, people making major shifts and life changes that are happening at this moment in time. So these are really big, life-changing, fated events that are going on, and a lot of fated new beginnings. Now that we're moving into the new moon in Aries, which is the total solar eclipse, it is a North Node eclipse, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's all about your identity, the I am. And so it feels like the North Node is all about where your soul wants to go, what it wants to learn, what you want to consume and understand in this world and experience. And it feels like there are a whole heap of new beginnings, new things that are coming in that feels like a whole new identity. But it may be one of those interesting things that feels like I didn't really think this through very well. I just kind of did it or started something, or it's just happening. And so there's a lot of interesting energy where at the moment what they're showing me is that there's a lot of pressure being put on energetically onto the human ego. So it's about understanding that they're just showing me this compression, because it's like it's hard to make sense of this, because it feels a little bit like I'm being pulled this way and that way. I'm being pulled down in that direction. That feels like where I should be going, but it almost feels like I'm being herded that way because there's an obstacle or something that's blocking me from going down the path that I want to go down. So it kind of feels a little bit like you're being very, very directed. And what they're showing me is because Mars is the ruler of this eclipse, it rules Aries, and Mars is in Pisces at this moment in time. They're showing me on a higher level this compression of the human ego. So it's like all this light is hitting the earth at this moment. This higher vibrational light and energy is hitting, and it's compressing our human egos, which is confusing for us because we're so used to feeling like we're more in control. But this energy, because Mars is in Pisces at this moment, and Mars is the ruler of this new moon and this eclipse, this is where we have to learn to trust our intuition. We have to learn to trust that there's a higher source energy at play, not just where our egos are pushing us. So it's about being able to go with the ebb and flow, trust divine timing. And it may have been already that you started something and you didn't really think much about it. Didn't have a lot of planning, you just did it. And then it's kind of like, because Mars is moving into a conjunction with Saturn, it feels like you might be hitting a bit of a roadblock in some way, shape or form. So the way they're showing me this energy is quite literally like an arrow that has flown into a spider's web, and it's just remaining stuck there. It hasn't reached its destination. It's still hanging in the balance. And it feels like I want to pull it out of there. I could pull it out if I want to, but at the same time, it feels like something's just really stuck and it's not moving forward at this moment in time. So this can bring this sense of roadblocks, obstacles, delays. This might even come across and feel like bad luck. And it really is this energy of, and this can feel like a bit of an energy roller coaster actually, because it might feel one day you're really energized, you've got a lot of energy, and next minute you're just feeling really exhausted. And so in terms of your energy levels, it might be really important to be getting more sleep, to be resting a little bit more if that's what's needed, and to trust the divine timing that if something isn't quite working out right now, that it will in the divine timing. And that may be the opposite for this new moon in Aries. It could be that something comes in really super fast. That could be really exciting. But it does feel like there's something interesting that there does feel like there's some kind of block. So why are we getting this block? I want to tune in to this. I want to tune in and see why we're getting this block with the Mars conjunct Saturn energy coming through. And what the message I'm getting, actually, it is all about us having to learn to trust the higher source power, to trust the divine timing. And it can feel like we're moving through these frustrations, that we're being really a sense of like being pushed into a direction that could have a major impact on our life, and we might not fully understand why. But it's like our souls are just guiding us down that path, and we have to really, really trust that. So it's, in a way, what they're showing me is it's teaching us that there's something bigger than us, and we're not always in control all the time. And part of that is that we have to surrender to the source energy and then come back and understand how this is impacting us. It could create a pressure or a stress in our life in some way, with this sense of feeling like there's a bit of a roadblock or an obstacle of some sort. But it also might be a sense that it's bringing us back to really trusting our intuition, honouring the messages from our body, listening to how we really want to feel, learning to go with the flow in terms of the higher plan that's going on here, not necessarily the plan that we want. So yeah, it's interesting. And this new moon is exactly conjunct Chiron. And so Chiron represents our wounds. It also does represent healers and healing as well. So it definitely feels like there's something here that is being very deeply, there's an opportunity for it. I'm trying to work out how I would describe what they're showing me here. I'm just going to sit with this for a moment, because they're not showing me this is necessarily a new energy. This feels like an old wound, but there's a new activation around it. So there's a possibility with this new activation that feels very Aries, like it feels like it's energy that's wanting to go out and be activated and expand into new places, new sense of identity and trying new things, that is being activated, whereas previously it may be that energy was constrained and couldn't go anywhere. So it feels like it's like we're getting new confidence, or we're just trying new things. Some of them are really going to work and some of them are not going to work, and that's the thing. And just because it doesn't work doesn't mean it's not necessarily the right thing for you. It might just be it's not the right timing, or there's something around that we could reassess, rework, reassemble, readjust in some way. Maybe it's not in quite the right form yet, because we do have Mercury in retrograde. So they're bringing me to that as well. So there is just so much happening at this moment in time, and it really is this sense that you're working with divine timing, not earthbound timing. And it's really important to try not to fall into the pitfalls of feeling powerless. You might have shot that arrow and it's landed in the spider's web, and it's kind of like feeling blocked. I wanted to go down this way. I was really motivated. It felt really right. I trusted my instinct, and then somehow it's landed in this spider web. And now I could go into the energy of feeling like something's not working. The universe is against me. I'm falling into victim mentality. I'm feeling powerless. And that's part of what it is this sense of feeling that you're tapping into some sort of bigger energy cycle that is coming through here. And trusting that the energy will lead you in the right direction at the right time. So it's a sense of blending your human will with higher spiritual purpose, and understanding that sometimes those two things don't necessarily marry the way that we understand it, or feels like the right timing. And so this is part of what I'm feeling is going on with this new moon energy. So I want to pull some cards around this. I want to start with a card for the new moon. So the sun and moon are conjunct, and the sun is exalted in Aries. So let's see what is coming in for the new moon in Aries. It is the dark moon, so it is about setting new intentions, planting new seeds, and just trusting that those new seeds, as all the cards fall off. Look at this, here's the new seeds we're seeing here with the Five of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles, and it feels almost like the Five of Pentacles is like a halfway midpoint. It's almost like the Five of Pentacles can be when there's been a lot of stress and worry about money, or you're wanting to leave a situation on the material realm that hasn't been serving you. So it may be you're thinking about changing careers or moving or changing jobs or buying a new car. It could be all sorts of things, going on a new health journey. And we're seeing that, maybe you're here at the 5 and you're wanting to get to the 10 as the end goal. And it feels like, okay, maybe it feels like there's something that you're not quite where you want to be yet with it. But it feels like definitely there is a challenge to step out of a comfort zone, to be able to move on from and overcome some challenges in the material realm. That's something that's coming through with this as well. So let's see what's coming in. I want to ask about Chiron. That fully came out. Okay, the Seven of Wands. The cards are all coming out in very eclipse-like fashion. Half of them fell on the floor. They're just not very organized or predictable. They're just all over the shop. But we've got the Seven of Wands coming in terms of the Chiron energy, and this is a fire energy as well. So Chiron is in a fire sign. So the fire sign is about your energy levels. It is about your passions, your drives. It is about your creativity as well for some of you, your spirit. So the Seven of Wands is where you're getting yourself into a better position. You're overcoming challenges. And so it really feels like the universe has thrown something at you, and it really has, you're understanding what you are being made of here. So this Seven of Wands is warding off all those challenges and getting itself into a much better position, finding the higher ground and getting a little bit more confident with that. So I want to pull a card for the higher potentials of this eclipse energy. This is a big one. It's really massive energy coming in. So let's see, there could be some kind of really just big changes happening at this moment in time. And they're bringing me to the fact that we are moving towards, here's the sun we're seeing here. This is breakthroughs. This is seeing opportunities that were no longer there. This is connecting back into your inner child again, which is the higher potential, and trusting that you've overcome some kind of obstacle. This character has broken through the wall that represents the obstacle. The sun is shining, which represents vitality and joy again, and represents a sense of feeling the youthful enthusiasm, the innocence, the energy, the drive, and seeing opportunities where there wasn't, or this feels a little bit like we're facing this wall here in the sun card, and this is saying the higher opportunity is that to be able to break free of that. Really listen to inner child, so connect to the things that bring you joy, bring you happiness. This is an opportunity for you to be able to shine again, and to feel like with that Chiron energy that maybe there was something that with that wound that was somehow, it feels like a thorn in the side, like a wound. It feels a little bit like that was drawing down energy, like sucking in energy, a bit like a black hole. And so this is where potentially some of that energy gets freed and you have more light to shine in the world, which is really beautiful. So I just want to finish it off with an affirmation card for this new moon. We've got, my thoughts are creative. I say out to every negative thought that comes to my mind. No person, place, or thing has any power over me, for I am the only thinker in my mind. I create my own reality and everyone in it. And that's a very empowered energy to be in mentally, and to get that sense that you have the possibility to create your own reality at this moment in time with everyone in it. The universe is strangely creating opportunities for that, even though they may seem a little bit destabilizing in some way. And it feels like, but at the same time, you're working in unison with a higher power. So it feels like once we can get that flow happening, things can go a little bit easier with this. So yeah, that is the energy for the new moon in Aries. Thank you so much for joining me and take care.